Welcome back to Sports Extra, presented by your local Toyota dealers. While the NFL playoffs roll on, the NFL season, of course, is over here in New York. It's interview season for the New York Jets as they search for a new general manager and head coach. And yes, we are going to get to that topic in a bit, but I'd like to bring something to our New York sports fans' attention tonight via the eyes of a former New York Jets player, someone beloved and still around every single day supporting Gang Green. And Tony Richardson joins us now. And Tony, as I said, we're going to get to the Jets in a little bit, but first, thank you for joining me on Sports Extra once again.
Thanks for having me.
So now, Tony, this is amazing. You just returned from Israel.
Yes.
You were there from December 29th until January 3rd, and you went over there right into the war zone, and you were with the organization Athletes for Israel. It was a trip in partnership with Project Max, and you traveled there with a former Kansas City great. You're a former Kansas City Chiefs great as well. Nick Lowry, great kicker.
Yep, definitely.
And I want you to tell me, first of all, how this trip came together and what this trip was all about to Israel.
Project Max wanted to use athletes to kind of use our voices to kind of see exactly what's going on. And so even so much so when I was there, I would post different things and I would get backlash. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. And you know me, I don't get into the political stuff or whatever, but how about getting on a plane, going to Israel and see what's going on? When you see, images of meeting parents that, the day that the missile hit those 12 kids, and to be able to talk to their parents.
You met those parents.
We met the parents, and not only meet them, and I don't even know, I was telling Nick, and if it wasn't for Nick and Eric Rubin, I don't know how I would have got through this trip, because there was times where we saw things that the humans should not see. But to be able to stand there and look at these little kids' faces as their parents are telling us about their child. One of the dads, was actually a first responder. He showed up to the soccer field, realized that his little baby girl was dead, and then immediately he goes and starts helping other people. And we talked to all of them, and I'm looking at the dates, I'm like, this was just July, just a few months ago. I don't think I'd be able to stand up.
But this beautiful girl, you met, she is one of the hostages, and you met her father and brother.
I did.
What did they tell you about her? And it's been over 400 days that she's been in captivity.
You're talking about resilience, sitting down and talking to her dad and her brother, and understanding that this just isn't a hostage. Like, this is a sister, this is a daughter, and this is a young lady who, if you look at it's 19 when she was kidnapped, and now she's 20. And I think there's still 100 hostages. Nama Levy.
And an athlete like you.
And an athlete, triathlete. Her dad is a triathlete. Her brother would say, you know what, and it's interesting because you're sitting there talking, and I think it took me a couple days when I got back home just to kind of process, because every day we were doing and seeing so many different things. But I'm just thinking, like, I have two sisters, and just imagine if my sister was hostage. Obviously, she served, and just hearing them kind of tell the story, and we even got a chance to FaceTime with her sister that her dad set up, and it's like here's her little sister who's now growing into adulthood, and her older sister would be the one who can kind of guide her, and
but
she's not around.
Tony, what do you want? And obviously we have a sports audience, so it's not a news show.
Exactly.
But what would you want to tell sports fans that what you learned and what they should just look into and know about what's going on?
Well, the biggest thing is the resilience of that community. Like that Tuesday night, scary time in a bomb shelter. And then I wake up on Wednesday, and I got so emotional because I was staying at the Hilton Tel Aviv. I got so emotional because I looked outside. There were 60 people surfing. There was dogs running around.
And
there was kids playing.
It's beautiful there.
And it's a reality for them, and it's a norm for them. When that siren goes off, you got about 90 seconds to get into that shelter, and you just realize, like, there's a lot of things going on around the country, and I know, like, our
and now
prayers,
it's like the fires in LA. They hear the sirens, they evacuate.
And that's what I was going to say.
Going on,
my thoughts and prayers go to all those families. I got former teammates. Donnie Edwards has a house out in Brentwood, so I understand that. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on around the world, and I think our mission through Project Max and with Nick is just kind of raising awareness and let people know that there's young families who lost children. There's people who are still hostages, and we just want to be a voice, sometimes for the voiceless. How
did they react, though, to NFL players? Was it nice? And it was Hanukkah. That's a joyous time.
You know what, Tina, it was probably, I was kind of overwhelmed because, you know me, like, we've served together on different charities and different boards and things of that nature. And so I felt uncomfortable when people said, thank you so much for coming. And I'm like, we didn't do anything. But it's just more so the fact that we took an opportunity to come and see and to be able to tell their stories, to be able to say
and learn.
And to be able to learn, because you know how it is in our society. Sometimes there's a big story and then all of a sudden, boom, something else happened and that goes to the back. And so I think the biggest thing that I would hope that people would do is just, realize that there's a lot going on in the world, and through athletes we get a chance to kind of shed spotlight on it. But yeah, they loved it. They didn't quite understand the American football aspect of it, but because soccer's really big over there.
Yes.
But the great thing about it is they didn't care about football. They just cared about everywhere we went. People were so thankful that we came and to support them. And that's, I mean, even, being back here in New York, and I went to a couple events, and just people just saying thank you so much for going to Israel. And I'm just so blessed. It was life-changing.
And also showing that it's still possible to go there and help those,
it really is.
In that whole area, in that entire war
zone. And Tel Aviv is beautiful. I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, it was a beautiful country. And I thank, Eric Rubin and Nick Lowry for making it happen for me.
So thank you for sharing your story, Tony. All right, we have less than a minute, we literally have seconds. What happened to the Jets this year, Tony? You and I would text a lot, be like, what's going on?
Well, I think the biggest thing is last year it happened. Aaron went down.
Right.
So I do believe toward the end of the season, he was playing so much better. I just feel like I wish I had it, because I was pretty much at every game. I went to the game. I went to the game in London, and I just think the margin of victory in this in the NFL is so hard. It's a play here, it's a missed kick here, it's a time management here, and it's just like all of a sudden it's like when one thing goes wrong. And I've never been on a team that just were a snowball effect.
And that's
but it
what
seems
happens.
like that, because it seems like every time you're watching a game, like okay, everything's going good,
and
just wait for the other shoe to drop.
So all right, they're going through all these interviews right now. There's going to be a lot of changes in that locker room, but there's like that core. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, those guys are still coming back. Sauce, Jermaine Johnson will come back. What kind of a coach would be good for this team? And those players, we know that'll be back.
Yeah, everyone says we need a players coach. We need a coach that the guys respect. And the coach is going to put the guys in the right position. And the thing about it is, I've been around some great football coaches, and every coach I have, from Dick Vermeil to Marty Schottenheimer to obviously our beloved Rex Ryan, you know what?
Who's been interviewed.
He's been interviewed, and Rex was a fun coach, but at the same time, he demanded excellence out of us.
He got results those early years.
We stepped on the field. It was no more all that playing. Like, it was time to win. Like, you got people's lives and livelihoods,
jobs.
And not even that, just the fans. The fans deserve a good product. And I lived in Long Island City. I lived right across the street from the firehouse, and firefighters like, man, what are we gonna do? What's going on? Every single day. So I do believe that. I do believe they're going to get it right this time. But we got to have a general manager and a head coach in sync, and it has to start there, obviously from the top all the way down. And then just because the players are there, that locker room is stacked full of talent. Never know if Aaron's coming back.
I was just going to say, but what about the quarterback? How sick are you with this question?
Listen, for me personally, I think he should come back. I really do.
Those last 5 games.
Because at the end of the day, where are you going to find another quarterback that's better than Aaron Rodgers? Like, you're talking about a Hall of Famer. It's not like the Hall of Famers is just
It's not a great quarterback class.
Exactly. So I do believe, if it was me personally, I do think Aaron should come back.
And the Giants they're going to draft the quarterback, you hope.
Definitely. Yeah, and they're going to start over again. So,
okay. Tony, so good to see you again. Thank you so much for sharing and bringing that T-shirt and telling us everything. And people can follow your Instagram even for more information as well.
Exactly. You can follow my Instagram or Nick Lowry. He does a great job of posting as well. And he's a former Jet. So,
that's right. That's right. Athletes for Israel. Really appreciate you, Tony. And Sports Extra. We'll be right back.